In the quiet of a medieval monastery, a moment of deep prayer is reported to have broken the boundaries of the physical world, revealing a powerful sign about the very heart of Catholic faith. Welcome. In the 12th century, a time of deep faith and monumental change of the Church, a story emerged from the quiet Cistercian Abbey of Clairvaux in France. It was a story involving its revered abbot, Saint Bernard, and an event during prayer that will be passed down for centuries as a remarkable sign. This video will explore that documented account, unpack its significance for Catholic understanding of the Eucharist, and reflect on what it might whisper to our faith today. Join us on this journey into a moment where the divine is said to have touched the ordinary. To understand the event at Clairvaux, we must first understand the man at its heart. Saint Bernard, born in 1090, is described in historical records as a towering figure of the 12th century church. He was a Cistercian monk, a reformer, and a spiritual writer whose influence earned him the title Doctor of the Church. But beneath these formal titles, many sources paint a picture of a man consumed by a passionate, personal love for Christ, particularly present in the Eucharist. His sermons and writings, referenced by theologians and historians, are said to overflow with a longing for divine union, often expressed through the imagery of the sacraments. Life in his abbey at Clairvaux, as recorded in its historical documents, was centered on prayer, austerity, and the communal celebration of the Massachusetts. For Bernard, the Eucharist was not merely a ritual. It was a vital source of spiritual strength and the focal point of his mysticism. This profound devotion sets the essential stage. It tells us that what happened was not an isolated magic trick, but an event deeply connected to the inner life of a saint known for his intense prayer. According to accounts, Bernard would often spend hours in contemplation before the crucifix, lost in the mystery of Christ's love and sacrifice. This consistent, decades-long orientation of his heart is the first key to the story. It was a fertile ground from which an extraordinary moment could spring, revealing how his personal faith was perceived to intersect with the divine in a tangible way. This deep, personal devotion wasn't just private feeling. It was a very heartbeat of daily life at the monastery he led. To understand what happened next, we need to step into that sacred space, the Abbey of Clairvaux itself. The setting itself is crucial. The event is placed by most accounts within the walls of Clairvaux Abbey, the monastery Bernard founded and led. This was not a public spectacle, but a moment rooted in the intimate, rhythmic life of monastic prayer. While the exact date is not specified in early chronicles, it is consistently placed within the broader context of Bernard's long tenure as abbot during the 1100s. According to traditions preserved by the Cistercian order and recorded by early biographers, the incident occurred in connection with the liturgy. Some versions specify it happened during the celebration of Mass, perhaps at the moment of consecration, while others describe it taking place during Bernard's private adoration before a crucifix in the church. This minor variation in details does not change the core narrative. It emphasizes that the event is deeply woven into the fabric of Eucharistic worship. The atmosphere would have been one of silence, reverence, and focus. Bernard, as the abbot and spiritual father, is reported to have been in a state of deep, absorptive prayer, what mystics might call ecstasy or rapture. He was, by all historical accounts, completely given over to the object of his devotion, the crucified Christ represented on the cross before him. This context is vital. It removes the story from the realm of random supernatural occurrences and anchors it in a specific spiritual reality. The intense, personal encounter between a believer and the sacred during the Church's most central act of worship, the quiet of the monastery, the weight of the liturgical action, and the abbot's profound concentration form the silent prelude to what happened next. And it was within this atmosphere of total focus, in the quiet of the Abbey Church, that the ordinary lines between prayer and presence, between symbol and reality, are said to have softly blurred. Then comes the moment itself, as passed down through centuries of telling. The central figure in the story is a crucifix, a carved image of Jesus on the cross. According to the documented narratives, as Saint Bernard was immersed in prayer, this representation of Christ's sacrifice is said to have undergone a remarkable change. The inanimate what is described as becoming lifelike, most significantly from the sacred wounds depicted on the figure, particularly from the side, recalling the lance thrust from the gospel, a substance is reported to have appeared. This substance, witnessed by Bernard and according to some accounts by other monks present, is consistently described as having the color and appearance of living blood. It is crucial to communicate this with reverence and care. The event is not portrayed as gruesome, but as a profound and awe-inspiring sign. In the perception of the witnesses and the subsequent tradition, the statue did not merely bleed. It was seen as offering a tangible, loving response to the abbot's fervent devotion. It was as if the boundary between the symbol and the reality it pointed to, between the memory of Christ's passion and his living presence, momentarily faded. The reaction attributed to Saint Bernard is one of humble astonishment and deepened faith, not fear. This account, while extraordinary, is presented in the sources as a private miracle, a grace given to confirm the faith of a holy man and his community in the reality of the love celebrated on the altar. It transformed the crucifix from an object of meditation into an active participant in a divine dialogue, a sign perceived as heaven reaching out to touch earth in the silence of the Abbey Church. But this moment was never seen as just a mysterious event. For centuries of believers, its true power has lain in the profound message it was perceived to carry, a message about the very core of Catholic faith. So, what meaning has been drawn from this event over the centuries? The interpretation shared by theologians and historians is deeply Eucharistic. In the Catholic tradition, the Eucharist is not a simple symbol but the real presence of Christ, his body, blood, soul, and divinity. The event at Clairvaux is perceived by believers and scholars alike as a powerful, visible affirmation of that mysterious truth. At the very moment Saint Bernard was contemplating the Passion and worshiping Christ in the sacrament, the crucifix before him is said to have manifested a sign of that same living reality. It bridged the gap between the historical sacrifice on Calvary and its sacramental renewal on the altar. Many see in this story a divine validation of Bernard's own intense Eucharistic theology, which he preached and wrote about so eloquently. Furthermore, it is understood as a sign of communion. Just as Bernard's prayer reached out to Christ, Christ was seen as reaching back in a gesture of intimate connection, offering a tangible comfort and confirmation. This is not interpreted as a magic trick to prove God's existence, but as a gift of grace tailored to the deep faith of a specific individual and his community. It speaks to the heart of Catholic spirituality, that faith is a relationship and that God, in his freedom, can choose to communicate his love in ways that resonate with the believer's inner world. The miracle, therefore, is seen less about the physical phenomenon and more about the message it conveys. Christ is truly present. He knows the desires of those who seek him, and his love is actively responsive. A message so powerful, it refused to be forgotten. So, how did this story survive 900 years? And what is its place for us today? How do we know this story, and what is it standing today? Its persistence is due to its inclusion in early and respected biographical sources. The most notable is the first life of Saint Bernard written by his contemporary, William of St. Curie, and other early Cistercian chronicles. These are not folklore, but historical documents that recorded events considered significant for the community's identity. The Catholic Church, while never issuing an official dogmatic declaration on this particular event, allows for and respects such accounts within the realm of pious tradition and private revelation. Their value, as noted by modern commentators, lies not in coercing belief, but in nourishing it. They are part of the rich tapestry of Lectio Divina, holy reading, that inspires meditation. The story of the Clairvaux crucifix became a cherished part of the spiritual heritage of the Cistercian order and a classic example in later collections of Eucharistic miracles, used for catechesis and reflection. It underscores a timeless truth, that deep prayer has the power to transform our perception. For modern believers, the tale invites a reflection on our own approach to the Eucharist. Do we, like Bernard, come with a heart so hungry for connection that we are open to the wonders of grace, even if they are not physical? The legacy of this 12th century moment is not about demanding similar signs, but about recognizing the greatest miracle already on offer, the humble, hidden, yet utterly real presence of Christ in the consecrated bread and wine, a presence that Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, according to centuries of testimony, is said to have been granted a unique and visible glimpse. So, from the silent stones of Clairvaux to our screens today, What is the enduring whisper of this ancient story? So where does this leave us? The story of the Clairvaux crucifix is not primarily a demand for belief in a spectacular event from centuries ago. Based on the historical accounts and the tradition that carried it forward, its core is a much quieter, deeper invitation. It invites us to consider the nature of true devotion. Saint Bernard's life shows us a faith that was hungry, personal, and centered on the mystery of Christ's presence. The event attributed to him is perceived by many as a profound response to that very hunger, a sign that the divine is not distant, but intimately aware of the human heart. The enduring message, agreed upon by theologians and historians reflecting on this story, points unwaveringly to the Eucharist. It underscores a central Catholic belief in the simple elements of bread and wine. Someone real and living is offered to us. The miracle, then, is a powerful symbol pointing to what the Church holds as the greatest miracle of all, the real presence of Christ on the altar, accessible to every believer in every Massachusetts. Therefore, the true takeaway isn't about chasing extraordinary signs, but about recognizing the extraordinary grace present in the ordinary. It's an encouragement to approach our own moments of prayer and sacrament with the same depth of longing that defined a saint, trusting that the greatest response is always the gift of faith itself in the quiet, sustaining presence we are promised. If you found this journey into history and faith meaningful, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us continue creating content that explores the depth of the Catholic tradition. If this video inspired you or gave you something to reflect on, please let us know by giving a thumbs up. It's a simple way to support this work. Perhaps this story reminded you of someone. Feel free to share this video with a friend, a family member, or your parish community to continue the conversation. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What aspect of this story resonated most with you? Or how does the mystery of the Eucharist speak to your own faith journey? Thank you for your time and attention. May your own search for God be filled with moments of grace and peace.